Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you. Jason and I are here, and you might be wondering, why is he standing like that?
I'm wondering that myself.
Right? Well, you know, because I got to do this for my new T-shirt.
There we go.
Right? How cool is that?
That is very cool.
I don't know. I might look kind of old manish, chunky.
Yeah, you sported it pretty well. You sported it well.
Sported pretty well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right on. Well, hey, good to be back.
Yes.
To talk to everyone about some things with custody. I think that's what we're going to try to talk about today is some of the numbers and folks who are in custody in our community, some of those numbers and things that impact those folks and businesses in our community, and talk a little bit about that and how we're trying to solve those problems. One of those numbers that I pulled was for the average cost in the U.S. for somebody in custody, which is
staggering.
It's just over $31,000 a year in the U.S. So that's a significant impact to taxpayers, and we can make a dent in that. That's my hope. We've got some other numbers that we should probably share really quick is the within 3 years of release, I think it's 2 out of 3 people are arrested, and more than 50% are incarcerated again.
Correct.
In the U.S.
That is a U.S. average. What's it like here in Nebraska?
Yeah, so for Nebraska, we are just a little over half of that, so we're like 25.5%. So it's significant for Nebraska. Like, we need to definitely do better there. Definitely need to do better. And I think, something else that kind of really blew my mind too is, 90% of women in custody will be released in the next 3 years. And I believe it's like 80% of men, something like that. And one of the big questions is, why? Why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Right?
Yes.
So, I don't know. You want to give kind of our reason as to why we think that might be, and sort of talk about, like seeing some of the segmented things or siloed things versus comprehensive.
A lot of times, I know there's a couple programs that we have talked to recently.
Yep.
That go in and do life classes for people who are in custody to prepare them for when they are released.
Right.
When they are released, there's another nonprofit out there that will help them furnish up their home with, items needed, personal items needed, furniture, eating utensils, stuff like that to help out. But really, if you think about it, when you're convicted, you lose access to federal financial aid for school. And that's huge because it's another challenge that makes it harder to gain skills and learn and bring value to yourself to, move on and find something different. Change, make those life changes. So with Jason's Heart program, we are working with those other nonprofits to prepare and kind of build a gap that will allow people to have that opportunity to have a job, learn, gain those skills, and have something when they're done. And that's important because when someone does come out of custody, it's a challenge right away. A completely different lifestyle from when they were in custody.
Right.
Having limited opportunities to get those good jobs that will help them move on.
Yeah.
Just a lot of different things. And so that's where we just want to try to bridge that gap.
Right. Yeah. Bada boom, bada bing. One thing Did you catch that? Bada boom, bada bing. One thing.
Gotcha.
Come on now. You gotta give it up.
Hey, it's
I
been a
gotta
long
give
day.
it up. Right, it has been a long day. Anyway, no, you're absolutely right. And I see oftentimes too, like you were saying, that programming is oftentimes siloed. And I don't, our nonprofit partners here in Lincoln are flipping amazing. They're probably some of the best in the country, I would argue. Having spent some time in that world and in other aspects of nonprofit world. But I will say we have a very good community of nonprofits that work really well together. I know we've talked about it before, but I do feel it's important to continuously mention that because they all work so symbiotically together, like one living organism that's just knocking it out of the park. So, so we'll see a lot of that where there's some programming in custody, or when you get out, there's a place to stay, or maybe there's some opportunities here and there. But that was the big old question mark. Like how do we fill that gap, or how can we innovate it in a different way and do something a little different? And I guess that's where we kind of came up with our comprehensive approach, which I guess it's going to encompass obviously an education. And I think you made a very important point about potential barriers if you are arrested or in custody, that you could be isolated out of qualification for student loans and federal aid to better yourself and get an education. But so I was looking at a 1-year program that you're paid. So you got a full-time job, you're working towards a certificate in IT admin or media right now. And then so you're getting that certificate, you're getting the on-the-job training, you're getting paid, and you're getting a mentor and are teaching here. So there's a huge kind of what's next, right? And I guess that was, I started using that. I can't take responsibility or credit for that, because I started saying that a lot more when talking about what we do, because I hear it a lot from our nonprofit partners, is like, what's next? When you get out, it's got to be terrifying because you don't know what's next, right? So
where am I going to live? How am I going to have food?
Yeah.
How am I going to get around to be able to even get a job?
Right.
And will they even hire me?
Right.
There's a lot of concerns there that it's scary. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunities I've had.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's we want to give those opportunities.
Right.
We want to be able to do well in getting people to where they want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where they want to be.
Yeah. It's throwing it out there. It's a hand up. Right?
Yes.
That's my thing. I love the idea of the hand up. So hopefully if folks are watching, they've kind of gotten my little spiel on the hand up and what that means and why that's important. And I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the future. But yeah, when you have a plan, obviously, if you've been in any in custody or in any sort of programming, not just custody, but substance use or mental health, having that structure is very helpful to stay on path and stay on your journey and keep yourself on the right side of things and where you can grow and move forward. So, making sure our program has that comprehensive approach where when they get out of wherever they are, there is a plan, there is 4 or 5 of those tenets that are part of that. And then then when you get out and you go through our program, the idea is when you graduate, boom, now there's a what's next, which is part of us reaching out to our audience and saying, employers out there, help us help you. We've got some barriers and challenges, all of us. I'm not excluded from that. It's hard to get outside of the box and get out of your own way and really think about,
what's next?
Yeah, is this me getting in the way of why can't I hire this person, right? They've proven that they can do it to get better, whatever they're having to overcome, right? So that shows a lot of dedication motivation, determination, flip yeah, heck yeah.
tenacity.
Yep.
I mean, that's...
So these are really great folks.
Yes.
And then did Tom share that article with you this week about the, wish I had the gentleman's name. I think it was a gentleman that wrote the article, but he was kind of calling out, this whole great resignation. And he's like, excuse me, there's like 30% of the population out there who is like ready, willing, and able to work. Mm-hmm. And so let's remove barriers. Man, let's do this thing. Like what, but I definitely call on employers and hiring managers, HR folks, anyone that's listening that can sit down and have a discussion with us. Let's like hash this thing out. How can we overcome those barriers, mm-hmm. And make this process easier? Because the fact is, with Released and Restored, another great nonprofit partner here in Lincoln, mm-hmm. and the statistics that they talk about and their experiences going into the jails and the prisons and teaching, it's very concerning how many folks in Nebraska, and she's great about focusing on specific stuff in our own backyard. We got to do something.
We do. And right now, everyone out there is hiring.
Right.
Everyone is hiring.
Everyone,
a lot of places
yep.
are struggling to find employment.
Mm-hmm.
You stated there's 30% of the workforce out there.
That's something like that in that article.
I'm not sure of the numbers, but there is a huge resource of people that are willing and able.
Yeah.
But they need that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes down to, like you said, the employers, those who are struggling to find, people in positions. Hey, we're going to be having people available who have that training, who have the skills and the experience that they have gained to be able to be one of those employees. It's a thing of where we're trying to solve a few problems at the same time.
Yeah.
Getting that person that what next, getting people ready to be entering the workforce, and getting them matched up with the employer to have that position filled.
Yeah.
So yes, it's something where the employers,
we need you.
We need you. It's something where
our state needs you.
Our state needs you.
We'd all do. Yeah.
Everyone in the state, anyone who's out there listening, we also need you as well.
Right.
If this is something that is close to your heart, or sparks interest, we need your help as well.
No, I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, go to jasonsheart.org. There's great options there that are very affordable for anyone to be able to contribute and really, just help us start denting this thing. We got to start now. And I will commit to finding those actual numbers from that article, and I'll send you the article too. Maybe we could even share it on social media too.
Yes.
And Victoria may have. She is our media wizard here. If you don't know Victoria, she's fantastic. So
she makes us look good. And
yeah, she does. Yeah, she does, man. I mean, especially with this whole thing I got going,
There you go, sir.
You got to make fun of yourself, right? Once in a while.
You're fine.
So that comprehensive approach, that's a big deal. And then also making sure at the end of that program, there's a what's next to our what's next. And that is, again, call to action to our employers, like, let's get together, let's meet, let's have lunch, I'm buying, let's just talk about it, let's open the dialogue, let's work with our legislators and figure out if that's the course of action that we need to take. In a lot of cases, some cases maybe not, but so one, I will get those numbers, but two, yes, I have started doing that, reaching out to employers and just trying to get time on their calendar, just talk 15-20 minutes. Let's start the dialogue. How can we help? Do you see some alignment here where you could work with us? Even if it's come and do lunch and learns with our apprentices that are in the programming, meet them, see them, let them experience you and what you have to offer, and look for that alignment. So I think we can make a lot of progress in that area and with that approach.
Yes. So,
and one other really important component I wanted to throw in there too that's worth mentioning is Erica at Unite Us. And I should say, if you don't know Ruth at Released and Restored, they're a fantastic organization. They do incredible work in our jails and in our prisons, so you need to check them out too.
We had some great conversations.
Because I love
with
her.
them.
She's an amazingly talented lady and does some incredible work. So familiarize yourself with what they are doing, and you want to talk about doing the hard work in the trenches. They are on it, right? So, but back to, I wanted to mention Erica, because Unitas has been very good to work with, and that is another kind of arrow in our quiver, right? Tool in our shed that we can hopefully won't have to, but if we do need to pull out that tool and use it, we can, which is, I call it the really big stick with Unitas, because they've got access, to a system that they give us access, I should say, to their system, which is if we have an apprentice who has a barrier in programming, and let's just say maybe there's a struggle with income, maybe there was an insurance expense that month, so they're having a struggle with meals. We can get their information in Unitas' system, blast it out in the network, and basically it will automatically pull the services that we're seeking for that individual and then get them plugged into resources, so that it's like a bridge barrier builder. Really,
We talk about that encompassing.
Yeah,
That's what
Right.
what they do, is they encompass all those other nonprofits that do different services.
everything.
And if someone car breaks down, one of our apprentices' cars breaks down,
Yep.
and they can't get it fixed right away, we can look and see what can we do about transportation help.
Right.
And that way
Right.
they can continue to come down here and continue to work, continue to learn, continue to progress.
Got to stay on the
And
path.
that's what we want to do. And that's why I love the idea of what Unitas does, because it helps people.
Right.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing. We're all about people helping people.
Yep.
That's the number one goal.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's, again, taking that comprehensive approach, and that's something that we definitely want to share with all of our listeners, that, that's the approach we're trying to take, is that comprehensive, all-inclusive, and planning out of what's next. And that way there's always structure. We're keeping everyone plugged into that. So, and, it's a program that has the blessing of the Department of Labor. So we're trying to bring as much value to the table for those apprentices as we can.
Yes.
And then again, trying to bring value to the employers too. So let's get that alignment, and we just want to keep having these conversations. So if you're out there listening, share our podcast. Go to jasonsheart.org on our website. All of our information about our program is on there. Getting involved in donating and supporting what we're trying to do. So we want you on our team. Believe me, we need you on our team. Our whole community and our state needs you on our team. So check that out, and go share our podcast and what we're doing on social media. You can always find us at Jason's Heart 402
Yep.
for Nebraska.
And if you have questions about our program,
Oh, Lord.
you can easily contact us through that website,
Yep.
and we will definitely respond with any answers that we can.
Yep.
So that way we can, get the information out there, get people to know what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's important. So anything you can do to help us, even if it's just your talent, sharing and supporting us with your talent. And by that, I mean, if it's a volunteer opportunity, if it's sharing our message, letting others know what we're doing, and how important and how much difference a program like this can make, that's what we need. So we need that talent as much as the treasure and the time, and anything that you can do to help share our mission, share our cause, and maybe even get one of these bad boys.
There you go.
I'm sure most of our listeners will wear it better than me. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that kind of concludes what we wanted to chat about today. We're trying to bring as much value to our listeners as we can, share our message, get on there with us, and
Let's walk together.
Be one of the people helping people and walking together.
Yeah.
I like that. So next week, I think we'll kind of stick on the same topic, and then in 2 weeks, we've got a home run interview coming with a really cool gentleman down in Louisiana who's going to share some important things about mental health and barriers that he faced. So tune in a couple weeks, and we're gonna transition over to mental health and some things and talk about our communities in that way and have a fantastic interview. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be with you next week.
We'll catch you next time.
Be one of the people helping people.
Yes.